Welcome back to the Real Word Confessionals podcast, where we dig into the questions that are never asked to tell the story that is seldom told. And today we have Jeff Mays, who is a speaker, a coach with the #1 coaching organization, Tom Ferry, who we had on the last podcast. Jeff also runs a real estate business and has many iterations for many years. Jeff Mays, welcome to the podcast, brother.
Thank you. Never done this before. I've watched it so many times. Glad to be here. Thank you.
We're excited to have you. And this is different. This is different than your typical podcast. We're going to go deep. You're willing to do that with us, right?
Absolutely. Let's talk about
it. Before we dig into the confessionals, Nicole, you just met Jeff. Have you heard him talk at any of the events? I'm sure you have.
Yeah, I feel like we're friends on Facebook. I'm certain I follow you on Instagram.
Yep.
And I feel like through all those things, I feel like I do know you, but
I don't know that we've met in person.
No, we've never met in person.
Jeff brings a ridiculous amount of energy to every room he's in. I'm looking forward to being in the same room with you in a couple weeks in Dallas. We're going to do that safely, of course.
Yes. We've been missing face-to-face meetings.
Absolutely. So I'm looking forward to doing that. If you are lucky and fortunate enough to have seen Jeff speak, you know what I'm talking about. And so this is going to be a lot of fun. Let's dig right into it with confessional number 1. Jeff, what is something that overwhelms you?
I think what overwhelms me is really getting ideas done that I have in my head. I have so many ideas and thoughts and processes, and it just overwhelms me to get them all done in a week.
Oh, so these are things that you want to get done immediately. They're not like long-term, let's write them down they're like, if you have an idea, it needs to happen now.
Yes. I'm a big fan of acting on any idea within 5 or 10 minutes. The old Mel Robbins, which is if you have an idea, act on it within 5 minutes. If not, you'll put it to the side, or you'll get to it eventually and you'll really never get it done.
How do you keep your day organized then? Because I feel like I'd be squirreling all day. Squirrel.
I totally get everything is time blocked out. We've all heard that if it's not in your schedule, it doesn't happen. And as crazy as this sounds, one of my goals is to walk my dog twice a day, and I put it in my schedule. One of my goals is to read Think and Grow Rich every day. Another thing that I'm trying to finish
some part of that book every day?
Every day. I try to read a part of that every day. I think it'll help you out. That and How to Win Friends and Influence People. And I don't know if you've seen the book, The Greatest Salesman in the World. That is one book that I've tried to read for 30 years.
Really?
And I can't get through it. And here's why. You've got to read every scroll 3 times a day till you go to the next chapter. And I've only gotten to the 3rd chapter, and there's 10 different chapters. It creates habits by reading this book.
Is that a rule?
Everybody should take a look
at it. Is that a rule in the book where you've got to do that? Okay.
That is the rule in the book. You cannot go to the next chapter unless you've read that chapter 30 days in a row, twice, once in the morning, once midday, and then read it out loud. And it's all about sales, and it just pumps you up. It gets you fired up.
And that's called The Best Salesperson in the World?
3. The World's Greatest Salesperson by Og Mandino.
So do you time block then for ideas? Because again, I feel like if I was walking my dog, I'd have an idea. Or if I was reading, I would have an idea.
That's a great, I usually on Sunday, I prepare for the next week and put everything in and really think about for an hour or two. But that is one thing I'm working on, is just time to think. Some of my best ideas come when I'm walking my dog,
taking
or
a shower. That's where all my winners come.
In the office, right? Yeah, seriously.
Jeff, where are you on the DISC assessment? Obviously, in the TF ecosystem, we talk about the DISC all the time. You strike me as an artist, and you're talking about taking your ideas and putting them right into action, though. But where do you sit on the DISC?
Yep. I feel I'm an amiable artist, and I many times avoid conflict. I want to get along with everybody. to me in real estate, you've got to be like a chameleon. You got to have all four of those
an understanding, right?
Aspects or understanding of them and how to relate to them totally. But, you know, some people would say I'm a driver because I'm pretty much like, this is what we got to do. I say this all the time. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. I'm just the bottom line. But at the end of the day, I feel like I am somewhat.
So are you like a people pleaser? Do you say yes? Like, are you a yes guy? Like you just yes everybody or?
Say yes, figure it out later.
Yeah.
That might even be a Mel Robbins thing.
Right. You're right.
If anybody's on.
Right.
Well, I know I'm a driver.
What do you think you are,
Bobby
Byron?
saw some of that before this podcast here today because we were having some technical glitches before you got on. Yeah, I'm a 99 on the driver scale for sure. You know, DI, that's where I'm at. But if you're not familiar with the DISC of what we're talking about, this sounds like a foreign language. Just Google DISC, just how it's spelt, and take the test for yourself. Take the assessment. Do it with a workplace mindset rather, and it'd be interesting. You'll learn a lot about yourself, but more importantly, you'll be able to, like Jeff was saying, adapt to other people. If I'm in the room with a 99 driver like myself, I'm going to want to adapt down, give them the control, especially if I'm trying to build trust in that relationship. Yeah.
Have you read, let me get this real quick. Have you read the Social Styles?
Social who?
Styles? I have not.
Have
handbook?
You read the
No.
Social
I like
Styles
handbooks.
Oh yeah, he likes it when there's more pages and less
That's
words.
Beautiful.
It's thin. Right. But it tells you how to interact with the drivers, the amiables, the expressives. It tells you.
We're one confessional, and I've already got notes and 2 books I need to read. So here we go. Confessional number 2. Jeff, how have your faults hindered you from success?
My faults.
Yeah.
I'm a very loyal person, and the reason I say that is I was 19 or 20 years old, and my stepfather at that time was in real estate, and he was. I'm confessing right now, he was best friends with Mike Ferry, Tom's dad. They were best friends, and loyalty means a lot to me. It means a lot for people that work for me, and it's kind of like. I don't really trust people, but when I do, I'm in. Like, Byron, remember my first time talking, I don't know if it was your first time talking, was at the summit.
My first time in front of 5,000 people, that's for sure.
Right. We were both in the back room, like, we're about ready to go out there with 5,000 people. I'll never forget that. But that was the most I'd ever talked to more than like 40 people at a time. So, to me, my loyalty is to some degree a fault of mine, and it hasn't made me act when I should have acted a little sooner. I was with my stepfather for I ran his company for probably 15 years. I'd been with him for at least 18 years. I probably should have done something different maybe 3 or 4 years earlier than that.
Is that loyalty, or would you say that some of that is and I don't know, it's a question, confidence? Did you feel like maybe you couldn't do it without him, or you didn't want to do it without him?
That is a really good question. I got to be honest. I may look like I'm so confident, but probably until I got to 40 years old, 42, 43, I didn't really have the true confidence to go out on my own. It started happening when people like, dude, you know a lot of stuff. And I looked around and I'm like, all right, I know more than some of these successful agents and brokers and owners right now. I need to share these things that I've learned. I think you're right. It came with a little bit of confidence being able to do it on your own.
I know that I work a lot better when I'm next to somebody instead of like being the leader. Like I can do wonderful things together. It's just when when you're out on your own. So, and I think it obviously takes a moment like that for you to then realize like, holy shit, I am smart, cause like you just thought you were like just doing what you were supposed to be doing.
Right. But hey, watch this. I was forced to do that because my parents unfortunately got divorced. So then I had to go out and make it on my own to some degree. So it was a blessing at the same time.
I got a little confessional. I remember when we were backstage for that talk in front of 5,000 people. I remember at one point
I would have
back
ran.
there.
I would have ran. They would have announced me. I never would have come out.
Some people were doing a little shot, maybe loosen up a little bit. I remember
I just feel like we were like hugging each other, like, you're gonna do this, you're gonna, like, we were kind of like, I don't know anybody here.
You're gonna crush it, man.
Right.
No, so I go out.
I was pumping you up, and I was actually trying to.
At one point, I'm like, I gotta get out of this green room. So I go outside, and I'm starting to like review my Cliff Notes there, and it was my story. So,
right.
Like I just had Cliff Notes. I'm just reviewing that. I come back into the hallway, and I see Jeff screaming up and down the hallway, going through his talk with massive energy, bouncing around. I'm like, should I be doing that?
Right.
Am I doing something wrong?
Oh my God,
here?
could you imagine, Byron? That's not even you.
Like Jeff's ready to go. That was intense though.
I remember that was a long hallway. It was behind the stage back there, but that was a moment.
So which one of you guys went first? Because I feel like if you went last,
Byron went.
And I'll tell you what,
Byron
2 minutes in, I get out there. I'm my like introduction is going good, and then like about 2 minutes in, the room hits me, 5,000 plus people, and I realize I skipped over a small section. And at that point, I'm like, okay, I'm either going to screw this up and stumble, or I'm just going to keep going and skip that part. And I'm just like, I'm skipping that part. I'm moving forward. They don't really know that part is missing. But I almost like let the room take over. And then once I had that one mistake, got over it, the rest of the thing flowed. But I remember when I watch it, I'm like, that's the part I screwed up right there, where I like looked around and saw 10,000 eyeballs and was like, oh boy, here we're doing it.
But, and that's where people, I think Seinfeld used to say that the biggest fear for people is speaking in public, and the second biggest fear is dying. And he would say that people would rather be dead than to speak at the funeral.
That is true, Sam. There's a great interview with Warren Buffett. He talks about getting over his fear of public speaking. He said he used to just melt down, and then he had to overcome it at some point, obviously building Berkshire Hathaway. All right, next confessional. Jeff, what do you currently think about most often?
Retirement, having money for retirement. I'm 53 years old, and to me, I just want to make sure that in probably 5 to 7 years, I'm set up and am able to do what I want to do. And I really feel like I'm truly blessed by working with Tom, with working with you guys and meeting the best of the best out there. I'm truly blessed in what I'm doing. I just want to have enough saved up so I can retire and live the life that I want to live. That's
so are
what
you
I
making
think
a lot
about
of your
life.
decisions now based on that? Like, will this get me to that? Because I mean, it sounds like retirement is within your 10-year goal, right?
Yeah, I would say most of my decisions are, how can I take advantage of this market? How can I set myself up? Tom talks about it a lot. I know we're dialed into this, is like, setting yourself up. I think we can, in the next 2 or 3 years, can set ourselves up for the next 5 to 10 years down the road, and
what's so
have options.
Beneficial to being part of the Tom Ferry ecosystem is we have daily reminders and accountability regarding our future. We had a small group of us, my mastermind and yourself, that got to hang out with Tom just a few weeks ago in Dallas and digging deep on that kind of stuff. Not like, hey, what's tactically going to make the difference in your business next week, but where do you want to end up in 5 years with your business, in 10 years with your life, personal life and in business for sure. And first of all, I'm calling BS. There's no way you're retiring in 10 years. You're going to keep doing something, right? You're not the kind of guy that's going to go, okay,
I think I'm always going to be around real estate. I don't think I'm going to retire. I'm not going to sit down and just play golf and relax. So maybe having enough to really choose what I want to do. To
what
me,
are the
that's
things you're doing now that do you enjoy everything you're doing right now, or are the things you want to get rid of?
I don't think I'm at a good place. I'm coaching. I was looking at this the other day. I coached 25 agents that are on track to make over $1 million this year. I coached probably about 50 agents. So half of my clients are on track to really crush it. My girlfriend runs the office that I have down here in Richmond, Virginia. And she recruited 7 agents in the first quarter. That's starting to propel, and that's really her baby. And then I've got a 19-year-old son that's a freshman down at Fort Worth, down in TCU, and things are good. And but I'm just always not satisfied. I'm always just I want a little bit more. And I think if you start every day at 0, imagine starting every day with no pendings, nothing saved, thinking that way that I've got to set an appointment today, or I've got to make a sale, or just that will push you along, and it will alleviate the point where, and we all feel this, where we want to hit the brakes.
Yeah, absolutely.
So just forging ahead.
All right, Jeff, next one. What about a business trend that you declared would go one way and it went the complete opposite way? So you were just wrong in your prediction, or your declaration of how it would go, or maybe your investment even.
I will I always say if I'm getting in the stock market, it's time for everybody to get out of the stock market, because every time I've gotten in, I picked the losers. I can remember back in the day when we were rolling along, and then I started investing in penny stocks, and that went down the tube. And there's been some investments. So I don't know nothing about stock markets. I'll let the best subscribe to that. Now, I will tell you one thing I was right on, and I felt like this back in October, November last year, that there was going to be a major listing crisis. And I saw your recent post about the 1031 exchanges. I feel like y'all were talking. I think you're right on. I think people are going to hold on to things a lot longer. Investors are going to hold on to things a lot longer. I think people are going to, if they've got 2.5% or 3% interest rates, they're going to.
Well, they have to.
They're going to think twice about moving.
A lot of people.
I
remember even when rates went up.
Right.
What was it? Maybe 4 or 5 years ago, and a lot of people couldn't even afford to move because their per month expense was going to be so much more because they had such a great rate.
I'm getting some pushback on Instagram the last couple of days. A few people in the comments that are, really supportive of the administration and their real estate agents. So they just got blinders on to what this would do to the real estate industry. And it's fun because we're just opening up a conversation. Like we said at the top of that show, this isn't about politics. This is about a policy that impacts the real estate industry. And like Ivy Zellman always says, right? If you're not the most educated person when you walk in my door to get my listing, if I was selling my house and you don't know the stuff that's going on in your business, I'm throwing your ass right out. You're not getting the listing here if you don't know this information. Right. So we opened the conversation, but I was surprised to see how many people in the real estate business that it doesn't take much common sense to figure out this has a negative impact on the industry you work on, but we're still for it. That was eye-opening to me. But you were right on the money about the listing crisis. You've been talking about it with the TF ecosystem. You talked about it with our brokerage, William Ravis, quite a bit when you spoke to us. And what do you see in the next, nobody knows, but what do you see in the next 12 months? You see it loosening up?
I think we're in this market at least for the next 9 months between the end of the year. I'm sure you probably noticed that they're recommending now that, this mortgage and rental moratorium, they're going to kick this can down to next year. They're not going to deal with this until 2022. So there's not going to be this shadow inventory that everybody talks about, or this a huge amount of houses hit the market. I think this summer, you know what? People are they're gonna go on vacation. they're gonna travel like never before. There's shortages already around rentals and rental cars and rentals. And I saw the other day American posted the first gain in the last quarter or month. So I think that most people are not going to be worried about putting their house on the market. They've been in their house for the past year and a half. They're ready to get out of that. So I don't see, and they're saying that rates aren't going to change that much. When rates start to go up, when rates go up, values go down. So that to me is the only place that we're going to see any relief on the amount of houses that are hitting the market. Maybe there's not going to be 20 offers. Maybe there's going to be 10 offers, and maybe it won't sell the first day. Maybe it'll sell the fifth day. But I still think that really for the next 3, 6, maybe even 9 months, we're kind of in this market that we're in.
People are like, what do you eventually there's going to be, the people that are missing their payments, those are going to go into foreclosure and people are going to be evicted. I agree with you. That's going to be a ways away if any of that happens. And here's what I believe does happen if you have a wave of foreclosures. Those are not going to be available. And I could be wrong on this business trend, but I'm about to make a prediction. Those are not going to be available to the single investors if there is a chunk of foreclosures into the future, next year or the year after or whenever. Zillow's going to buy them. Open Door's going to buy them. These big institutions are going to buy them. Wall Street is going to control the residential real estate market more over the next 10 years than they ever have before. So if you're a small town investor waiting and licking your chops for these foreclosures, good luck. You're never going to have the opportunity to buy them at scale, in my opinion, in the future. So flippers, I just think you're out of business for the most part, unless you can find the little old lady that's willing to sell her house. The game's over. You're not getting foreclosures in the future.
Right. I think you're right. I saw something recently. There's currently 3 million mortgagees that are not paying, that are in arrears, that are not being foreclosed on. That's almost less than 1%
Fannie Mae
of
says
all
we're
mortgages that are out there.
3.8 million homes short of demand. So put those 3 million homes. You wouldn't put all 3 of those on the market. That wouldn't happen at once. But we'd still be 800,000 short of demand right now. So that's not going to impact prices. Okay. Last confessional here, Jeff. You are now Jeff Mays, the wizard of real estate, and you can change one thing in the industry. What would it be?
I would change the confidence of agents that we've got to, you have value in this transaction, and we got to get away from, it's like Tom had mentioned, when it comes to commissions, we do a great job. We should expect that. We should try to get more in this type of market. Don't lower yourself to the common denominator out there. I think, to me, if everyone learned how to handle the objection around cutting your commission or doing it for less, we'd all be better off. It's just an objection. So what does that tell you as an industry? What does that tell you as an industry? That it's always been this objection. There's always going to be somebody out there that's going to do it for less. There's always going to, and if we learn how to handle that objection, you get more money. You do better. You get more referrals.
All right, Nicole's got some quick yes or no. This
it's like a lightning round.
All right, let's do it.
It's like a this or that. Ready?
All right. Yep.
Phone call or text?
Phone call.
Facebook or Instagram?
Instagram.
iOS or Android?
iOS.
Yes.
Work hard or play hard?
If you work hard, you can play hard. So I would say work hard.
Okay. Nice car or a nice home?
Nice home.
All right. So working alone or working on a team?
Working on a team.
Morning or evening?
Morning.
Chocolate or vanilla?
Chocolate.
Family or friends?
Family.
And then Byron and I do a lobster roll review. Do you like your lobster rolls with butter or with mayo?
Totally butter.
There you go. Jeff's seen the show.
Love it.
And I knew you were going to say morning because you've been gracious enough to moderate the 5 a.m. call a number of times. So,
you know what? Hey, the one thing that I found about getting up at 5 a.m. is it's your time. You know, that's your time between 5 and 7 o'clock. You get so much more done. That 5 a.m. call fires everybody up, and it becomes a habit. I got to tell you, I don't even set my alarm. Like, I got up today at 4:36.
Yeah.
Like, it just automatically happens. And I went to bed at like 10:30.
I love it. And people get pumped when you come on. So we got to have you back on the 5 a.m. call at some point.
Yeah, I'll do it in the next week or two. Just let me know.
I love it. Love it.
All right.
Jeff, thank you so much. People, go follow Jeff everywhere. Instagram handle is Jeff Mays, but it's got something else attached.
Mays_RE. Yeah, JMays_RE at Instagram, and follow me on Facebook.
Follow Jeff everywhere. If you get a chance, I'm sure we're going to be seeing Operations Edge come back at some point live.
Yep. Yep, we're starting to set some live events happening probably in September and October.
Can we break any news?
So we'll get back out.
We can't break news. September, October. I guess that's where we're breaking that news.
No, I mean, Summit is in October and down in Dallas.
Going.
I think the 5th through the 7th or the 7th through the 9th. So that's the only one that I know about right now. But we will see more coming out.
We will be there. Go get your tickets. I'm sure Jeff will be speaking at the summit. Jeff, appreciate you, brother.
Yep. Thank you. Appreciate this. Y'all have a great day. See you now.